Hey guys, Steve List from Good Fit Job Testing here. I'm going to be delivering a webinar next week on the one question that you need to be asking in your hiring interviews to make sure that you never hire a toxic personality. Now, why do you need to know this? Well, just to give you some background, I've been working with private practice owners on their hiring now for about 35 years. My company, Good Fit, does pre-employment testing and screening for companies that are hiring. I've personally evaluated somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 personality profiles on job candidates. And if there's one thing that I could get across to you, one nugget of wisdom that I would hope that you would understand, it's this. It is more important for you to focus on not hiring toxic, destructive personalities than it is for you to hire top performers. Now, I know that goes against most hiring advice that you're liable to hear in the business world, because we're always being told, hire the best, look for the top performers, don't settle for less. Well, here's why that doesn't work. So Harvard Business School recently did a study, and they showed, and this was, by the way, a huge study, it involved tracking 60,000 people that got hired. And what they found was that the costs of hiring a toxic personality outweigh the benefits of hiring somebody who would be characterized as a top performer. That's like upper 2%. It outweighs the benefits of hiring somebody like that by more than 2 to 1. In other words, if you hire somebody who's highly productive, whatever benefit or gain you're going to get from having somebody like that on your staff is going to be outweighed by more than double by the cost you're going to incur by having hired a toxic person. Now, why is that true? Well, toxic people cost practices money in lots of different ways, but most notably through turnover. They drive your good staff off. Your good staff will end up quitting a lot more often. They also cause just, conflict and dissension amongst your staff. They're also bad for your reputation. Think about it. What does one bad review cost your practice? They're also very likely to trigger litigation, either because of things that they do or because they're likely to sue you. These people are hair trigger on litigation. So altogether, the costs are actually probably more than double if you hire someone like this. So the one thing I'd get across to you is if you just have a way to screen these people out and don't hire them, you're going to be fine. Your practice is going to grow. In fact, you're going to find it takes a lot less effort to get where you want to go if you don't have these kinds of people around. The problem is these types of individuals are not easy to detect. They don't seem crazy, even though I assure you, they're nuts. They're crazy as they come, but they don't seem that way. To the contrary, they seem very charming, very charismatic. They come across as being very, very confident. They're great, actually, at job interviews, which is why other studies have shown they are more likely to get hired for managerial and executive positions than normal people. That's because they're so deceptive. But they do have certain traits. You can learn to identify them. And that's what you're going to learn in this webinar I'm doing. You're going to get a system that you can implement in your practice so that you will never hire a person like this. Okay? I promise that you'll walk away with something that you can use. So you can sign up on this page. It'll be about 90 minutes altogether, and you'll definitely get something valuable. Now, there's one more thing that I want to mention to you before I sign off here today. If you've been having ongoing staff problems, whether that's turnover or maybe there's some dissension amongst your staff or people just don't seem to be able to learn their jobs and get it and it's frustrating you don't feel like you have a staff that supports you, well, it's possible that you've already hired somebody like this and they're on your staff team, because that's the kind of turmoil that these people specialize in creating. And they do it while typically having convinced the doctor that they're the most indispensable staff member, the one person that you could never get rid of, the staff member that you should trust the most. Often, that's the toxic one. So that might be what's going on in your practice if you've been trying to fix your staff problems and nothing's working. So you need to learn their traits, and if you do have somebody like this on staff, then you're going to have to come up with a plan on how to get rid of them, which is a tricky business, and we're going to talk about that a little bit in the webinar as well. So sign up. I think you'll like it. It'll definitely be valuable information.